Ultras to weave in pen flingers and twin slices to go for like last points of burst, and it's especially effective against Priest because usually you will find yourself in situations where you run out of damage against Priest. But as we saw, Priest against Bomb Warrior, Priest against Soul Demon Hunter, it's all about trying to control the pace of the game, try and stick minions, try and weave in as many hero powers as possible while not falling too far behind on board. Make sure you're maximizing the amount of healing that you can do to withstand the damage, because one thing that Bomb Warrior and Soul Demon Hunter have in common is that they're very one-dimensional. They will only win by hitting you in the face with something. They won't win with burn damage. They won't win with overwhelming board presence. They will win by attacking you with weapons and dealing face damage. That's it. So you can, kind of piece together a solid game plan against that, just because you can expect what they're going to do turn after turn.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's something certainly to consider when we go into this matchup here. Muzzy with the 3 mulligan here, only keeping his Draconic Studies. Bloodyface has pretty much just the Marrow Slicer to think about, or I guess the Marrow Slicer does feel really good. I want to think about the Skull Eagle Dan though, because if you do keep Marrow Slicer and Skull, you would have something to play, but it just feels like you want to have that early game play. If you end up if the first card that's playable in your hand is Marrow Slicer, you're really far behind, I feel. So Bloodyface ends up throwing away everything. Gets back 1 Maker for a playable 2. It's going to go from there.
Yeah, nothing really else to kind of be proactive with outside the Wand Maker. But, it's kind of the deck, right? Ideally you'd have Spirit Jailers, Mana Feeders, and Wand Makers all in your opening. All in your opening start, but you can't always get everything you want. Play some minions.
Yeah, get tempo against the Demon Hunter does seem to be important. So I think Veilweaver doesn't need to get value very much. We've seen the Priest sometimes let 2/2s and Spirit Jailers 1/3s get a little bit too far ahead, and as a result punish them pretty dramatically. Water Pyromancer, not really what Muzzy probably was thinking about, but it can be used to destroy the board right now, unless he wants to coin out a 4-drop dragon.
You could coin Cabal Acolyte Raise Dead to steal the Demon Companion.
It's true. It is available.
Not getting too much value from Raise Dead, but you do get a Septic Veilweaver back. But maybe it's better to look for Wave of Apathy here from the Cobalt Spellkin, put a little bit more power on board, and go for a bigger swing with that later on.
Yeah, I guess from Bloodyface's perspective, how do you address this Cobalt Spellkin, if at all? Do you acknowledge it, or do you just kind of go past it and try to rush down your opponent? We've seen some players opt against trying to
I grow impatient.
Clear off minions from Priest and get heavily punished.
I don't know. Because if you just Kane and then go all face and then Apotheosis comes out, you're in trouble. Or any sort of removal, right? You're leaving this up. Okay, the double trade. This is the what I was gonna say, but even this play feels quite bad. Because you're not pushing that much face damage, and I guess you are. You're pushing 3. You're still presenting threats. Might as well just use the coin. I like this play.
Yeah, I think it's fine, and I think that it's still it has a lot of upside to it too. Even though you do lose the ability for the Gleevebound Adept, or you don't have the ability to do Glaive Bound next turn, I think keeping that consistent pressure against Priest has proven to be pretty impactful. Muzzy looking for the Raise Dead in this situation. Get back potentially the Cobalt Spellkin, but I think this Cobalt Acolyte should come out first so you can steal that 2-2. Makes sense.
Dance, puppet, dance.
All right, all right, all right. All right, I really want to start looking towards getting this Skull Outcast, but there's Glaive-bound adepts on either side, which is not good.
I grow impatient.
No, it's not ideal.
So this means he's not going to get his... If he wants to get the effect from Glaive-bound, it means he's not going to get a Skull Outcast for 3 more turns, which is a long time. And this turn, he's really not doing much. He could Aldraki Warblades, Twin Slice. Alternatively, he could just play a Glaive-bound and then hit base.
Right.
Like, it's a lot of wasted damage, but who knows? All right.
Just gonna systematically keep pressing just a little bit more damage. You know, that Kane still getting in there and chipping away. Muzzy finds Holy Smite. So with all these different tools, it does feel like Priest can win back the board right now. And kind of really does depend on how Muzzy envisions seeing this right now. If he wants to prioritize developing minions or just prioritize starting to protect his own life total here.
Is not... I'm not comfortable at 17. I kind of want to keep looking for ways to weave in some healing. And Holy Smite would have let that happen. Like, say he goes Sethic Veilweaver, Holy Smite, cycles it, gets to fit in a hero power, and also get a random Get a random smell. No, get a random spell. Like, I feel like the games that I see Priest win, and the games that I win as Priest in this matchup, is when I'm able to consistently weave in healing and maybe make a weaker play on board, but weave in that healing. Because Demon Hunter doesn't really struggle with dealing with board states, right? A lot of times they can push past things with Blade Dance, with Shard Setter Mystic.
Yeah, that's true. I do feel like the same thing too from my end, which is like I feel like being able to slowly outpace my opponents by constantly healing has helped a lot.
Yeah,
and made it so that way like you don't see the immediate. I mean, you do see the immediate effect of +2 health, but you also see the long-term effects of just how it really affects the Demon Hunter and their breakpoints of damage. But it does seem like Muzzy's prioritizing, trying to see if he can find the Sethic Veilweaver to potentially give him a spell to heal. Finds the Apotheosis.
Job done.
okay. I kind of want to do that instead of the skull. You can also fit an Animator Pit there here.
Yes, looks very good.
You want to use the skull to support a board instead of try and use one to react to a board. And Muzzy he's acquired a lot of resources, but he's at 16 now. Still has not been hero powering. Isn't finding enough Radiances, Renews, enough randomly generated healing from Cobalt Spellkins. And his hand is incredibly expensive, so... one thing he does have is Wild Pyromancer Apotheosis, which if a board gets pretty big, can be a ton of healing.
Your mind is not your
Especially the Wild Pyromancer Apotheosis like Power Word Feast. It's kind of an
Right.
interesting interaction because it means that the Wild Pyromancer is still going to be pretty healthy at the end of the turn. You get at least 2 procs of the Apotheosis, so even if there's just like 2 other minions on board,
Dance, puppet.
you're healing for
Dance.
6 and presenting a big spell damage minion. Or not big spell damage minion, big lifesteal minion. Ooh, Blade Dance is so good. Oh, this game's looking like it's gonna be coming to an end quite soon here. Pushing 7
Yeah.
now. Got Skull and or Glavebound added all this up. His 3-2 sticks. This should push even more because the 3-2's still there. It's a hit for 3. The definite.
Yeah, this is pretty huge. And now, like, we kind of talked a little bit about how Muzzy's struggling to find ways to consistently gain that life, and it seems like this situation has really caused him to be in a pretty terrible spot where he has to choose one or the other. But, like, his Wild Pyromancer and his Apotheosis doesn't really do much here. Wandmaker maybe finds Radiance. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Whoa, did you sync that with Muzzy going ooh?
Maybe. Okay, so now I think you go Wild Pyromancer, Apotheosis, Radiance. That heals for 11.
Okay.
What is a loon's will?
Looks
Can you
good
be
to
greedy?
me.
Can you Draconic Studies instead and just go up to 12?
Yeah, it doesn't seem... I mean, it seems like this is like the best amount of life possible, but it's still a really big life rebound. I mean, looking at what ended up happening, this is pretty sick. So yeah, ends up just committing to clearing the board. Can play Skull Gul'dan afterwards when he needs the card draws. And now Muzzy finds Mind Flayer.
It's got to be Cobalt Spellkin, right? Oh, wait, Murzon with
Soul
the...
Mirror? Wave of Apathy? No, there's no Wave of Apathy here.
I wonder.
Dive. Alexstrasza.
Okay. Maybe that's a way to stabilize after you've played stuff.
Yeah.
I guess you could go for the Murzon now and then play the Alexstrasza.
I
That
think you
seems
need
like
to
the best choice.
deal with this. Yeah, if you play Murzon, you get to heal for 2 because of the Aldraki Warblades, go up to 14, but you're leaving 8 power on board. So you're effectively at 6. It gives you like the best possible follow-up because you have 2 big minions on board and you have the Pets for Alexstrasza. That actually set up for a 2-turn lethal.
poor war.
Do you ever try and dodge 6 damage instead of for pick Alexstrasza, then Murzon? Because you play
Not all the
Glavebound and
time.
Aldraki Warblades, which puts 16 power on board.
Right.
Well, you're effectively at 6. Is that ever the play, though?
I mean... Well,
He
I mean,
would have died here.
yeah, it's
But,
he would have
like,
died.
what-
There's a lot of draws that actually kill him too, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Because the Aldraki Warblade healing doesn't matter because you're Alexing the next turn anyway.
Right.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, definitely fun to like go back and evaluate it. And I'm sure if you're doing replay analysis, that kind of creative line of thinking is nice because the situations might pop up again. But I will say that it does seem a little bit optimistic for that.
Sometimes you got to be optimistic.
I don't disagree, TJ, in life in general,
I wonder.
but it can hurt. This hurts a lot. Like, what does Muzzy do now here if he plays? A Cobalt Spellkin again with another Radiance. Another ooh. Well, Sociologist Militia doesn't really do enough here, and I think he's got a Power Word Feast of pressure. Hoping for the best, expecting the worst. 3 damage showing. He knows about the Penflinger, but, you know, bloodyface doesn't have it guaranteed yet. That is guaranteed?
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
Yeah, Marrow
Slicer,
Slicer,
Hero Power,
Penflinger.
Suit Magic, Penflinger.
Yep, and that will do it. So bloodyface is going to take this game number 1. And the Demon Hunter gets the win over to the Priest to start things off, which is a nice little win there for bloodyface. Remember, bloodyface needs this win here. This is an important weekend for him. So we'll guarantee that he stays in Grandmasters. And if not, he'd have to re-qualify, which he's in a pretty good position to do so. But you know, obviously, you want to take the guarantees where you can. You know, don't give percentages for your opponents to have that edge.
Yeah, you know, for all we know, it could be 2 players in the finals at Masters Tour Madrid. However unlikely it may be, those players could also have earned money in previous Masters Tours, and they could pass just about everybody in the Americas by finishing 1 and 2, which would be crazy, but still could happen nonetheless. So you never want to rely on that as far up as bloodyface is in the standings. So big match. It felt like Muzzy just couldn't get anything going there. He tried to stick a board, which oftentimes seems futile against Demon Hunter. And, you know, there's that way you can play it, or there's the hero power weaving way you can play it. Sometimes either one works out, but this time just couldn't find enough healing to get the job done against the Demon Hunter.
Yep. So that leads us to our next break here. We're going to take a few minutes to get set. We're just getting started with the Americas portion of Hearthstone Grandmasters, casted by myself and TJ Sanders. We'll be right back.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile.
벌써 어려운데? 3가지 단어로요?
세 가지라고 하니까 좀 애매한 것 같네.
Hearthstone player, caster, fan.
穏やか、楽、丸いって感じですかね。
用3个词形容我的话是很努力，然后认真工作，然后很爱玩遊戲。
自分を3つの言葉で表すなら、うまい、オタク、雑。
스트리머, 하스톤 게이머, 뭐 30대 게이머 이렇게 할게요.
저를 3단어로 표현하면은 슈퍼, very cute, maybe.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas. Today's October 3rd, 2020. On this day in history, the very infamous case of the Los Angeles Superior Court jury found O.J. Simpson to be not guilty during his very high-profile case for the former football star. Really happy football is back. And, you know, the question is, TJ, what will be the verdict of some players who are fighting for relegation this weekend as Bloodyface is on trial? Will he survive, or will he be in relegation bracket, which would just be pretty on pace? We have a history of people who win seasons and then get relegated afterwards, so it's a possibility, TJ, and I hope that's not the case here going to game 2 between Bloodyface and Muzzy.
It's plagued Europe more than it's plagued us, to be fair. They've had it happen twice now, right? With Fino in 2019, and then Silvername this season. Since earlier today, we did confirm that Silvername's been relegated in that auto relegation spot. He'll get his. He has a couple victory laps. He has his last match tomorrow, which the outcome doesn't affect anything but potentially other players. Actually, no, I don't think it affects anything. And then he's got his victory lap when he shows up at the World Championship. You know, maybe he can go out of Grandmasters on top and win the whole thing, and then say, "All right,
My fury.
now I can stream full time forever."
That's right. I mean, we'll see how that ends up playing out there going into, as you mentioned, what could be the final days of some of these players in Grandmasters. But going into game number 2 here, we have the Tempo Mage versus the Secret Rogue coming out from Muzz, and only keep on the dirty tricks there. Sometimes, you know, I feel tempted to keep Dragon's Horde in my opening hand. I actually have questions about that, and it looks like Muzzy has confirmed that you don't have to, even if you're on the play against Mage. You just really want to have better proactive stuff to play, and dirty tricks tends to be a spell that gets activated a lot, since, you know, Mage loves to play spells.
Yeah, I think you can keep it if you already have Vendetta, or if you're playing the... Oh my gosh, I'm going to forget the name again. Underbelly something.
Fence.
It's such a weird name that I forget it every time despite playing it like hundreds of times over the past week. Underbelly Fence. You can keep it just so you have you can tempo out to 3-4 instead. But yeah, outside of that, oftentimes it doesn't really affect your game plan too much, especially against Mage. You'd much rather find guaranteed tempo tools than you would trying to keep Dragon's Horde in hopes that you get an activator, or that you get something to go along with it, like Underbelly Fence if you're playing that, or Vendetta in the case of Muzzy's list.
Right. Which makes sense. Well, finds an evocation with Secret Passage. The meme is real, TJ. I personally find a lot of joy doing that kind of combination, but I know that some people feel like it's just for fun. We'll see, though. Muzzy chooses to kind of play this Blackjack Stunner. Now Bloodyface has to respond. Goes with the double lab partner, setting up for potential powerful plays with Sorcerer's Apprentice. And Muzzy finds a questing adventure. Okay. His hand
Piecing it together.
is looking awkward, but it looks interesting. Evocation Secret Passage dynamic, though, is particularly fun to me.
You don't do it,
Yes, he's doing it.
No. He just plays the spells.
No, play the Secret Passage and then dagger up and kill.
Oh, he can... Oh, no, he can't do it. I was going to say he can Incanter's Flow and then Secret Passage, but you can't Secret Passage and then Incanter's Flow. Like, wouldn't that be sick?
Yes.
Shuffling all these spells in your deck and then making them cost one less.
Yeah.
That's... No, never mind. That still would be really bad, because you just have all these bad spells in your deck.
I'm like, you just sounded so excited. I want to be excited for you, DJ.
No!
Yes!
No!
Yes!
It's
Oh, this is awesome.
You
You don't like it? I love this play. Good job, Muzzy.
All right.
I like this play because it fights fire with fire. Like, his hand was situational enough where, like, he couldn't really capitalize on anything. And, you know, Rogue, if you're not investing into your early game tempo, like with a questing adventure on turn 3 or turn 4, then you might as well be trying to invest in your resource count. Finds Van Cleef and finds the Cold Neophyte off of his secret tricks.
Yeah.
And burns Wand Thief. Okay, not a big deal because he got so many random mage spells, TJ. All's well that ends well.
The issue that I have with it is we've seen players do this kind of thing before where they just like prioritize just all this random value and then they can't piece together a solid game plan. But I guess the upside for Muzzy is that he did hit a lot of spells that have a good amount of synergy with his deck, right? He hit Ancient Mysteries, which is basically just, you know, he gets to keep a secret in his deck. Combustion can help him fight back on the board. Devolving Missiles is actually great against Mage because you can get rid of Astromancer Solarian. It's a pinch, a removal and a pinch against Sorcerer's Apprentice. You can get rid of the activation for Violet Spellwing on the Death Rattle. But this is the problem. Like, it's just a bunch of random nonsense against a deck that can actually utilize that random nonsense, wield its power to great effect instead of for funsies, you know?
That's fair enough. The funsies is very fun, but I know what you're saying, TJ, and it makes sense.
I'm a big
but either
proponent
way,
of the funsies.
Yeah, well, TJ, funsies is all I know. I grew up in the funsies. I was molded by it. You merely adopted the funsies.
Actually, true.
Bombing Missiles. Misses the Crazed Netherwing and gives a lackey for Muzzy so he can burn another card. That's actually really funny.
Time runs out on you.
Bloodyface is just going in.
Both players just having obscene amounts of hand space issues.
Yeah, because he didn't want to go for Mana Cycle in there because he would have wasted so much of the spells from the Mana Cycle because he couldn't dump all these minions. He also didn't even discount his Mana Giant by that much. It's still 5 mana. Like, that should be a sick turn. I was expecting oh, spell here, spell there. Evocation, another spell. Mana Giant for free. You know? That's what I expect. But this was like, meh, spells.
Meh, spells. That's what I hear from TJ. Evolving Missiles will activate the Netherwing portal. Wow, what's with the missiles missing?
These Devolving Missiles are just...
Oh my gosh, so true.
I don't know.
Quickly.
He doesn't have hand space to play try.
Yeah. Like, how does he also want to do these trades? Both players just having.
Muzzy's
so
playing a
many
bunch of random mage spells to, without an end goal. Bloodyface is playing a bunch of random mage spells with the goal of playing 0 mana 8/8s. I feel like one player gets the best of this situation.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Muzzy has like Potion of Illusion.
Yeah, that's true.
Edwin Van Cleef.
Cold Neophyte Potion is, you know, I guess interesting.
I like it.
Look at these.
All right, so we can go for Big Daddy Van Cleef. Cobalt Lackey. We can go for the Pharaoh Cat. End with Van Cleef.
The Brotherhood shall come.
Colossus of the Moon. Well, if yesterday night was any indicator, that means that Muzzy's about to win. If you missed that, Frozen got 2 Colossus of the Moon off his Pharaoh Cats. The third gave him a generous mummy and still managed to win.
Yep. Oh, I always feel like Encountersful is just so good, but in this situation, I think you got to find just things to be able to fight back on board, like the Arcane Breath.
Right.
Because in Flow, you can look at it and say, oh man, well, Sorcerer's Apprentice is like the best card in my deck, and Encounter's Flow does that for me for my entire deck. Well, the biggest thing about Sorcerer's Apprentice is it also gives a discount to the cards you're generating from the cards that are discounted.
Right.
Which is what makes it powerful, because you can chain those effects together in a turn and pop off with Mana Giants and Mana Cycles. Whereas Encounter's Flow, just the initial cost of the first spell, like the first half of the Ray of Frost, the magic trick, but not the spell you get from the magic trick. So it ends up being always less value than you think it's going to be in the long term. Potion of Illusion, Edward Van Cleave.
All right. The dream can
I'm
go
about
for
to eat my work,
big
Dan.
board
This is
presence
too much
here.
pressure.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're a genius. You'd always go for Evocation Secret Passage.
Thank you, TJ. I mean, it looks pretty solid from here, and it does... It's just so good at what Rogue does best, which is just a bunch of nonsense. And your opponent can't really do much against it because it's like so unpredictable. How do you know what Rogue's going to do if Rogue doesn't know what it's going to do? that's
so wise,
that's the
Dan.
way. Yeah, I
you sure?
seriously feel that way.
Are you sure you're not the top Hearthstone analyst?
No, I'm not sure.
That was the smartest thing I've ever heard said.
I appreciate you.
I mean, how does Bloodyface fight this? Does he go for like Evocation to try and pick up freezes? Does he go for Mana Giant and Conjurer's Calling to try and find like Terralion or Walking Fountain? Oh, Cone of Cold. So he can Mana Giant ping Cone of Cold?
Okay.
Or do you even Mana Giant? Yeah, you can Mana Giant, because how does he kill it? I don't think he kills it. He can like Blackjack Center it, but then you still get to play for free the next turn.
Right. Because it doesn't matter if it makes it cost 1 more, it's pretty much going to always be free this game.
Yeah.
So I like this Cone of Cold. Muzzy, of course. Not happy to see that Giant, but is there a way that he can fight back against it? He does have a Rusher and he does have Combustion. That costs him almost his entire turn. He also has the Restless Mummy tier too.
Yeah, he's got multiple ways to kill it, actually, which is not often the case for Rogue. But he's still got 2 random mage spells left. He hasn't been playing them. Very reactive. I still think I agree with Bloodyface's choice to play this. Now he doesn't have a target for Conjurer's Calling, but like his ability to like push Conjurer's Calling and then maybe even like freeze again could have been the way he set up a 2-turn lethal. Muzzy wants to keep
want
a
to
3-1
take the
around.
All right. I can buy it.
If
I don't
he
think I'm
doesn't
happy about
take
it.
the 8, I guess not. All right.
I feel far enough ahead if I'm Muzzy that I don't have to do this, but
All right. Here's Ross.
Yeah,
Nice pickup. Buys him 1 more turn. Perhaps even more. Whoa, perhaps even more.
all the Solarians. Wow. Wow, okay, that's really good with Evocation. Sorcerer's Apprentice is
Yeah. So he can
a
mana cycle in
good
this
card
turn,
in this deck.
and then Source Apprentice Evocation next turn. Mirror Image. Got ourselves a good old-fashioned Hearthstone game here.
Yeah, this one's kind of turned into a slobber knocker. Okay, so the Lackey's off to Evil Miscreant. Kobold Lackey lets him shut down a little bit of his opponent's board. Also, definitely worth thinking about how Secret Passage could be worked in as well, but I think we're going to just play this and Secret Passage next turn. Yes, this makes sense. Kobold Lackey, and he keeps separating the Van Cleefs to keep playing around Rolling Fireball and going to gold and other shenanigans like this.
All right, Bloodyface sits up, focuses in. It's Apprentice
He's
time.
ready. Yes.
Go, 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 go. He should have started 10 minutes ago.
Yes. He's so close that he can smell his keyboard. Okay, finally starting to take action. Sees the Mirror Any, but it's not going to really stop him here.
He spent half his turn playing a Sorcerer's Apprentice. Not good, Dan. That ain't it.
Yeah. Also arguable of whether or not he should have played his Dalaran Mage, but I guess he wanted to keep his mana open so that he can play Evocation here.
Yeah.
And needs
Keeping
to
his
find
mana
a way to
available for
stop.
Blizzard.
Okay, rolling Fireball is nice.
Rolling Fireball and Ray of Frost. Wow, this is actually sick. He also gets a Counterspell or an Ice Barrier. Probably Ice Barrier since the Counterspells are going to stay in his hand. This is real good.
Nice. We made a lot of good use out of this.
Muzzy's disgusted. Look at this. That's Grumpy Muzz.
Meh. Meh. Lord Barov or Karga Bladefist makes sense here. I guess like Muzzy feels like the two rushers are good enough here. Goes to Secret Passage looking for the Seekers to play with Hanar.
Yep. All right, play draws.
Ooh.
Ooh, backstab. The question is, do you pop off with questing here as well, or you just go for maximum secrets? Maximum secrets it is.
Maximum Secrets, and you can Shadow Step his Van Cleef.
Oh! For some reason, I like
Dirty
having an
trick.
odd numbered Van Cleef on the board.
Okay, still needs one more mana. Oh, he's not gonna do it.
All right. He could Shadow
Okay.
Step his Hanar.
Yeah, that's also reasonable too. Oh,
He could
not gonna
not
use Shadow Step at
Step.
all.
Disconnections.
You miss 100% of the steps you don't play.
Man. What? Fire.
I wanted to see the Shadow Step. That was a lot of spells you just played. Van Cleef would be like 10-10 or 12-12, I think.
I mean, at least on the Hanar, because Shadow Step's going back in your deck. You really want to draw a Shadow Step off the top?
Right.
What are you going to do?
guess-
Shadow Step your Colossus of the Moon?
Right, and you tested for Spellbender, right? So you know that it's not... So it's not like your Shadow Step is going to collect a little token. Bloodyface has Chenvala and all these spells, but they look pretty mediocre. And I think if I'm bloodyface, I'd be tempted to even Conjurer's Calling my opponent's Enclave. Man, this looks bad.
Yeah.
And he also has to see the spells, right? He doesn't know what spells it is. It could be counterspell. So he's plagiarized, which is another thing to consider.
Yeah.
And with that ice barrier, he is safe.
Yeah, but that's still a scary thing to do. He does have some more stall tactics, so that's essentially the name of the game for Bloodyface. He's got 2 Solarian Primes in deck, Mana Giant in deck with Conjurer's Calling in hand. He also still has a Sorcerer Apprentice and a Mana Cycle in his deck. So he's got a lot of ways to kind of fight back in the game, but right now I worry that that's all he's doing is stalling. Outside of a 6 Solarian Prime, I don't see the potential for a big swing turn coming up anytime soon.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a 1 in 5 next turn to draw one of the Solarian Prime since there's 2.
Swiftly.
That is true. Maybe Solarian Prime can be an out.
Prime is a nice funsies card.
It's a lot more than for fun, DJ. It's pretty sick. Might even be the best card in the game, some may say.
So now Bloodyface has to Conjurer's Calling Edwin.
He could freeze it. Still,
He only had
right?
that's just one.
Oh, it's only
half
one.
of a Ray of Frost.
Yeah,
I believe. So,
okay.
If he freezes one, he would die. So he has to.
I wonder.
I guess.
Time runs out on me.
Oh, you can Conjurer's Calling his. Oh, no. Dead.
I don't like.
He's going for the 2-drop. He's got to go for Doomsayer.
Oh, he's doing the Doomsayer route.
It doesn't
now.
exist.
It's desperate.
You can't do it. It doesn't work. Also, it would just kill the Colossus of the Moon and make him come back. I guess it would have Resurrection Stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried real hard to stabilize, but Muzzy just has too much pressure. That Potion of Illusion, TJ. The Secret Passage and Evocation. It's no longer a meme. It is game-winning in Grandmasters level. You heard it here first.
Yeah. It ended up being, because not only the Potion of Illusion, but then the ability to answer Mana Giant from hand. On a turn where Bloodyface was thinking, if this Mana Giant sticks, I have a good chance to win the game. Because he can Conjurer's Call next turn. You know, and in a situation where, I mean, the cards you're holding on for that long probably aren't hard removal, because there had been points where he could have used that earlier on in the match. That's a tough call to make from Bloodyface. Ultimately, I agree with his decision, because I felt like that play had too much upside to not go for it. But let Muzzy kind of, run away with the game, being able to answer that, plus develop a big board the turn before that with the Edwin and the Potion of Illusion. Nicely done. Now we're all tied up at 1. The unique decks for both players getting wins.
We have Mage and Priest remaining here. With no Warrior available on the table here, Muzzy probably feels a lot more confident about playing the Priest, but I mean, it comes down to effectively a mirror match of what we have left. Bloodyface does have the Evolving Missiles in his Mage, which is a difference from Muzzy. And the Priest decks are pretty similar, so it does seem like these are the 2 common classes that we'll be seeing the most. Priest is very popular right now, and you can kind of see why. It's just been very effective across the board against a lot of what people are playing right now.
Like to keep from Muzz.
Sorcerer's Apprentice and Mana Cyclone.
Bloody Face. So I think Veilweaver's good just tempo keep. Without follow-up, not the best card. Just a 2/3 in a lot of situations. I don't know the mulligan win rate data of Priest against Mage. Top of my head. Throws everything away. Alright, gets back some decent cards.
Yeah, I guess the big question is, you know, what is Bloody Face really thinking about when he's mulliganing, and a lot of it comes down to, can he answer early game plays from his opponent, or does he have his own proactive plays to go towards, which doesn't seem really to be the case here.
All in due time.
So he's just gonna have to wait for now. Muzzy taking his time. Could actually play the Dalaran Mage on 2, but lab partner's just better than Dalaran Mage in a lot of ways. You might think it's just like a mana or 2 difference, but it's pretty significant.
Wow. Shaping up to be a pretty fantastic opening hand. Cheap spell already. I mean, that generates a cheap spell. The coin. The ultimate cheap spell.
That's right, the original free spell.
Yep.
I wonder.
Bloody Face looking for the Madame Lazul, and gonna see Jandis sees the coin. And
this gives him no information. He
no
saw
relevant
2
information.
Yeah, he saw 2 keep and has not seen any of the cards that were kept in the mulligan played, and now sees these 3 cards and is probably like, "What?" Or I mean, these 2 cards, I guess, because the coin is just there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's particularly a lot of good plays for Bloody Face, and just like seeing this man Lazul kind of whiff is pretty unfortunate.
And now it's time to pop off a little bit, especially considering there's now a Mana Giant in hand. You get some more cheap spells from this Mana Cyclone. We're looking at quite an early Mana Giant play, or the ability to play quite a bit early.
Ooh!
Wow!
Wow! Lots of card draw, lots of freezes, lots of tempo. Me likey. So then what does Bloody Face do here? If you go for a Cabal Acolyte steal, you're going to leave up the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and that's asking for trouble. And if you leave up, and as you somehow leave up the lab partner, make it double.
You could coin renew and go for a silence.
Dance, puppet, dance.
Okay, you got it.
Silence.
Power Shield helps improve his power or his stability on the board. It almost unnerfs the Cabal Acolyte in a way. I was discarded 2/6 at one point, TJ, is what I want to know. It's so good.
This is too much card draw.
Right, I kind of want to Astromancer him. I guess the Brain Freeze doesn't really matter if it goes to 4. It kind of does, actually, because then you can trade the Mana Cyclone in. Or you can actually just use the Ray of Frost immediately. And Mana Giant now becomes 0.
Yep. So if Bloodyface has an answer to
Huge.
Mana Giant, which would be Shadow or Death, Muzzy just gets to follow that up with Jandis. And it also means that his Sorcerer's Apprentice is very likely protected in that case. Is he worried about anything weird? He saw the randomly generated spell, but I guess he leaving spell damage up means he's more vulnerable to Holy Ripple?
Okay.
I don't know. Doesn't really matter, I think. He just wants to keep the board clean.
Yeah, I think he just wants to ensure that he has maximum opportunity to just play Sorcerer's Apprentice and go off, or just Jandis. So just increasing the opportunities that he has turn by turn, which can't really blame him for right now. Things generally do seem to be looking up for Muzzy, though, because right now he is only seeing his Mana Giant dealt with, so he can draw a ton of cards this turn. Wow.
You commit the second Sorcerer's Apprentice, you could draw 6 cards for 2 mana.
Let's make something.
You commit the second Sorcerer.
Right.
And it's a turn before Soul Mirror. I don't know.
Okay.
Could kill the
I like
Mana
it.
Giant if you
I want
wanted.
maximum pressure. You know what? Let's just kill the priest. Forget it, DJ.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Just get him.
On wings of destruction.
I don't think there's any board ride removal except for Soul Mirror in the deck for Bloodyface. Doesn't even hit it from Cleric of Scales, which means even if he makes it turn 7, which he can with Wave of Apathy, still not a way to guaranteed clear the board in a couple turns.
All right, Cabal Acolyte is something that he's thinking about with that Wave of Apathy. But, like, what does he trade into first, right? Does he want to make his targets better or worse?
He knows
I
he
guess
wants to
if
kill
you-
Sorcerer's Apprentice, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of good targets that you can take. Let's go for it first. See if he gets Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh, he hits the Oasis Surger.
Dance, puppet. Dance.
Yeah. So he trades that into the Sorcerer's, or yeah, the Jandis or Sorcerer's Apprentice. Either way.
Wow, okay, that worked out.
I mean, now it's time for Muzzy to refill his hand. Okay, Devolving Missiles. Cram Session, which allows him to draw 2 cards from his deck. Plays Arcane Intellect, which allows him to draw 2 cards from his deck. Oh, geez. What are these draws, though? Put them back.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You didn't mean it.
doesn't hit
Undo. Control Z. Whoa.
Evolving Missiles is still crazy here if it hits Mind Flayer. Yep.
Bloody face. Like, oh, come on, man. How relatable is that?
All right, another Ray's dead.
What is Elun's will?
So Bloodyface, I'm kind of like looking at the situation. He has to actually eventually turn around the board, because right now he's just kind of surviving. Finds another Cabal Acolyte, which doesn't actually do anything except take the Cyclone. But that's better than nothing, I guess.
Your mind is not
Then he can trade into the Sorcerer's Apprentice and put something in the way of that Tiger, because that's a big kitty.
Yes, it is.
Dance, puppet.
That's a big kitty, also kind of shady. Oh, he finds Murazan. Okay. Lab partner hits the board. Muzzy has stuff.
Stuff. Not anything particularly good though. He's used both Sorcerer Apprentice, which means that he's going to have difficulty finding value from Shinvala, from Mana Cyclone. Bloodyface, all he needs to do is kind of keep tempo now.
You don't pick the ones, see?
Yeah, tempo is pretty much the name of the game here for sure, and Muzzy doesn't have he doesn't have the spells to sweep this up cleanly, so he's just gonna go ahead and use this as a stockpiling turn. Picks up a couple of cheap spells, but with Sorcerer's Apprentice is gone, doesn't mean that Shinvala has dropped a lot in its potential. Bloodyface could also play Murazan, which will play Arcane Intellect, which allows him to draw 2 cards from his deck.
That's like a theme here. Oh wow, the synchronized wand maker is very creepy actually.
That's right.
These games have been very weird. It seemed like Muzzy was so far ahead.
Right, and now it's like it's come to a grinding halt where like all of a sudden Muzzy's like, will I ever be ahead on board again? That's what Priest does. Priest lures you into a false sense of security, and just when you think you're riding high, crushes your spirit. You think you're ahead, you think you're doing well, then Priest uses your own cards. The cards that you just played.
There a way for him to make a meaningful comeback on the board here?
Due time.
He had a Ray of Frost. He could like Ray of Frost Murazan and then lab partner Raz. That would allow him to push through. I guess he could use Mirror Image, which is kind of similar.
Right, stalling. Does look good. He could play the Violet Spellwing at the end of it all. Yes. Yeah. Still solid to me. Solid. Nothing amazing, but definitely doing okay at the moment here.
Well, while Pyromancer, Apotheosis, and Shadowward Pain, that'll just about do it, I think. Let's see, how much will he heal? If he plays Mana Lazul first, there will be 8 minions on board, so he'll heal that twice, so he'll up 16. He'll clear off everything from the board except for a lab partner. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
There's +7. There's +6.
5, but
oh, +5 because yeah.
Right, because it kills.
It kills the Raz before and then procs the Wild Pyromancer. So
yeah,
I mean at this point, yeah, sure, he's got no Sorcerer Apprentice left. What's he gonna do? Trade off everything. Don't let him have spell damage. Heal up your lifesteal minion.
Is it cold in here? Or is it just me?
I mean, you can try to play Chinval, you can try to play your spells. Tome of Intellect finds another cheap spell. He just finds Sorcerer's Apprentice. Finds
Pegasus. Find a secret from this magic trick? Nope. What about another Astromancer Solarian?
Okay. I guess I could buy it here. Right, Steward Scroll. So we're just kind of piecing it together and hoping that Mana Cyclone ties it all up together, you know? All right, finds Devolving Missiles. and some other utility cards. Time for bloodyface to get even further ahead if he can possibly get it. Draw Sethic Veilweaver. Needs to get 1 mana spells that can target. Finds one.
Well, he can start the chain, but doesn't have really enough mana to capitalize on it too much. He can probably afford to wait a turn.
Your mind is not your...
Oh, never mind. He can just steal Shinvala. Ball Acolyte plus the Holy Smite on the mana cycle. Steal Shinvala. And now Muzzy pretty much reliant on either this Devolving Missiles, hitting this Shinvala once and hitting a Doomsayer, or Solarian Prime, which is one of the final 9 cards in his deck. He also has a Conjurer's Calling snuck in there. So maybe he draws cards here to search for one of those things. It's just he can't play his Armenian alongside his
frozen wastes, rise up!
Yeah, I don't really see a lot of value in this. I think Firebrand makes the most sense because it's cheaper and allows him to be more agile.
Firebrand, Devolving Missiles, Arcane Missiles? I don't know. So many like pretty high cost minions on board that Devolving Missiles feels like it doesn't even have that much value. Alright, just Secret and kill the Murzon. Stall until Solarian Prime.
Right, we're on a different game plan altogether, which is exactly what you described. We are hoping for Solarian Prime. Do your Solarian Prime dance.
I'm sorry. My elementary school must have had a poor curriculum. I was never taught the Solarian dance.
The future is clear.
It's okay, TJ. I'll show you. I have to show you some other time.
Okay.
Yeah. I conveniently forgot how to do it as well. Bloodyface finds Brightwing, which can generate even more minion presence here, more dragons, more stuff, more leggies. Definitely kind of an awkward spot in terms of what you want to develop. You're still not entirely sure what your opponent's holding since they generate so many cards. Finds an Alar. Okay.
Another Alar. Oh my gosh.
Can't really ever get rid of Alar because it'll rise from the ashes.
The emergency Solarian Prime Deathwing. That's what that is.
Yeah. Already planning for a post-Solarian Prime world.
Yeah.
Well done. I agree with that.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
It can't hurt. It doesn't hurt to be too prepared, TJ.
I guess Mana Giant Conjurer's Calling also on his mind for potential Deathwing. Things go really wrong. Ooh.
All right. Another Solarian Prime to juice it up, TJ.
I'm kind of feeling that, honestly. He's missed the Astromancer Solarian on many of his primordial studies this game. Actually, on all of them that he's played, because he only has the one Solarian Prime. But it looks like he's going to go with a little bit of stall. More stall. Frost Nova. He's just playing a combo deck, and his combo is shuffle Solarian Prime into your deck and then draw it.
That's right. Yes. I love
Sick
that
combo, man.
Yeah. Okay, Solmir is not particularly good here.
He's just shrugging. He's just like, well, I don't know.
It's... Yeah, I'm not exactly sure either.
I wonder.
It's looking pretty sus, TJ. Okay, well, maybe Bloodyface just develops and just trades a little bit here, but the problem is he can't really capitalize off his hero power, so part of the advantage of what Priest can do in this position is use their hero power to keep their board alive and be very resilient. But bloodyface can't even really do that right now because he doesn't have significant value trades. I guess he did through the Wand Maker, but he wanted to attack and test for the Flame Ward first.
Yeah.
My cargo, my business.
Puzzle box. Oh, there's a Conjurer's Calling.
Yeah,
Other
Conjurer's
Primordial
Calling
Studies,
is reasonable here. Just because he can
Probably
use it
gonna
on the
wait.
Mana Giant immediately.
Maybe wait? I guess not. He could still Ray of Frost. I was going to say, like, you wait till next turn and Frost Nova. But if you don't do it this turn, you probably have to Frost Nova anyway.
Right. I mean, sure. Finds a lot of power on the board, and I mean, he's got a lot of spells to really pump up. Oh my gosh, this is a full board? Almost full board clear? Might as well be.
All right.
Well. I mean, is that just it here? How does he stabilize post-Deathwing? I guess he could just use the Soul Mirror in this spot. Just goes for the Draconic Studies. And then, like, what does Muzzy do here?
Draw Solarian Prime off the top.
Okay, so we're back to the Solarian Prime. All roads lead to the Solarian Prime, TJ. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book with the mage. You can pretend like you're actually making progress in your own choices, but in the end, it's the same ending. It's like, no, wait, I didn't mean to go to page 46. Undo. That's right, I was always on page 72. That's right. He's getting Potion of Illusion. He is really desperate. Oh, jeez. Evocation again, if he so desires. Does he even need
Maybe
that? He
Ray
already
of
has
Frost,
an evocation. Yeah, maybe
Ray
better
of
just to
Frost buys
freeze.
some time. I don't know anymore. Mirror Entity for his
Okay, more
Apexis Smuggler.
freeze, more freeze.
I guess more freeze, but I feel like at this point, if he just keeps freezing boards, he's gonna lose in Fatigue. Okay, let's take stock of the last 4 cards in Muzzy's deck. Arcane Intellect, dead card. Primordial Studies, fantastic because it could give him another Astromancer Solarian. Conjurer's Calling and Solarian Prime. He doesn't even have, outside of Solarian Prime, a high-cost minion to Conjurer's Calling. He already has one half in his deck. So this is basically like, this Evocation generates something crazy, or this Solarian Prime generates something crazy. Those are effectively the 2 outs for Muzzy in this scenario.
Well, sounds entirely doable based off the track record of Mage currently in Grandmasters. Bloodyface with the pass. Still no Solarian Prime. Muzzy getting a little antsy about it, but let's see what the Apexis Smuggler can sneak in here. Rolling Fireball or Brain Freeze? Brain Freeze is just more efficient. Rolling Fall very nice with the spell damage. It clears everything.
Oh, yeah, it's clear. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Job done.
So ready for this.
Yep. Bloodyface ready his whole life for this.
Right.
This very moment, having a board full of mediocre minions in a Control Priest versus Temple Mage matchup. This is his calling.
Look how many Wand Thieves there are.
Yeah, and none of them generated a puzzle box, which honestly I'm just slightly concerned about.
It's a bug.
It must be. Alright. There it is.
Alright, we did it.
Time to go.
Your
Icicle? Nah.
no challenge.
Flame strike. All right.
Nice.
Another one portal. Meh.
Right, we take it.
No
No.
fireball. Killed it. No, it's the wrong order.
Wrong order.
No! All right, he has the
Wow.
Primordial Studies still left in his deck. It's one of his last 2 cards. Conjurer's Calling, Primordial Studies. He can go again.
Okay, we go again.
Long years I have studied.
Okay, learn Draconic. Maybe summons that 6/6. Running out of space around his hero portrait. I mean, it is October. People are playing the Christmas music.
Oh, he gets all 3!
Ton of power.
Rise up.
Oh, that's
Oh,
funny.
no, he only gets 2.
He gets
Missequence.
Ah,
Why
well,
did he
no,
play
no,
the-
no, because yeah.
Wow.
Wait, if you play that, you can't play the Jandis. Well, does he value tempo, or does he value or resources, or does he value tempo here?
Resources.
Yeah, I agree. When I asked TJ, it was more of an open-ended conversation. I was really hoping you wouldn't chime in there.
You just missed out completely on a mage minion.
Yeah, that was another Astromancer Solarian.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, Muzzy, how dare you?
Yeah. This is a still a little awkward for bloodyface,
It's kind
though.
of yeah, it's definitely an unusual game, that's for sure.
All right. Astromancer Slayer.
One more
One more for the road,
for the
Muzz.
fans. For the fans. Malygos?
Yeah. Sure.
I guess. Like, I'm trying to think about, like, what the value is of these other cards, but, like, I think you gotta hope that Malygos can stick.
He's got 3 Conjurer's Callings left. One half of one and then 2 full ones. So I'm parting ways with one right now.
I guess my rationale was that we need to find ways of Conjurer's Calling to get value, and here is the Conjurer's Calling. Find some minions that gain a little bit of armor, put a little bit of taunt away. Nothing too significant here. I don't know. Looking still pretty tough. Bloodyface can continue to bait him with Wave of Apathy first because he wants to dump his hand before he commits to the Deathwing.
So in Bombing Ritual, Wave of Apathy, Radiance. I don't know. just
I like
dump
it.
your. What does that tell Muzzy if you just dump your hand? I guess there's not really
That he's
anything Muzzy can
desperate,
do.
right?
Yeah.
That's right. It's bait. Oh no, I can't do anything. I guess I'll just play my cards.
I'm Bloodyface.
But it turns out he can
I'm
do
helpless.
a lot of things. Oh no, I guess you should play your best cards in your hand because I can't do anything.
Whoa. Whoa there, buddy boy.
Right? I mean, if he ropes out, he's also selling it even more to Muzzy, right? I like it.
Dump the Radiance. It doesn't matter. He's at 30. Dump the Radiance.
Now Muzz has to decipher what he wants to do here. Full trades, Conjurer's Calling your dragon. Seems entirely reasonable to me. Oh! Okay, those are sturdy minions, but also pull out the Malygos.
Yeah, that's sick though, because if Bloodyface plays Deathwing, he gets a 3/4. Oh, he gets a 3/4 and the Malagos. He can Conjur's Calling right across the same turn.
Right.
Otherwise, he would have to Malagos, then Ray of Frost, then Conjur's Calling Frost Nova.
All right, is this the turn? Is this the turn? Muzzy,
Muzzy
knew about it.
He knew it. Now he gets
calculated
Malagos.
for that possibility. And now Malagos is out. And now Bloodyface has to deal with this board. He can actually kill it with Frost Nova, Ray of Frost. Okay, yeah, just freeze it too. That works too.
Yeah, just freeze it.
Yeah.
Is that 2-turn? Ah, it's not a 2-turn though, is it?
Right, because he doesn't have 2 Ray of Frost. It's just a twin spell.
But he does have Frost Nova though, so he Frost Nova's next turn.
Okay. So he can play this Veil Weaver, but doesn't do anything. Maybe he's better off holding off on it, so he has like a bailout spell.
I think he is.
Wow, what a turn of events.
Yeah, because that blatant decoy let Muzzy accelerate the clock by a full turn.
Right.
Because otherwise, let's say that wasn't a blatant decoy. Let's say that was a non-death rattle 5-drop. Or 6-drop, rather, because he did it on the dragon. Muzzy would have spent this entire turn playing Malagos, Ray of Frost. Then the next turn, Conjur's Calling and Frost Nova. So he wouldn't have even been setting up for a 2-turn. It would have been 3 full turns. Like, that gives enough time for Bloodyface to have a turn of attacking, and Muzzy's taking more fatigue because he's got 3 this turn. So, you kill the Septic Veil Weaver, and then you Frost Nova and push all the damage to face.
It makes sense to me. Everything looks pretty solid from here.
He's not going to kill the Septic Veil Weaver.
I guess like he feels like he just needs to end the game right here, right now with all the damage, because this is still too close for comfort.
So even if he trades Septic Veil Weaver, he still has 13, 14 on board. Whereas, let's look at the targeted spells. He has 4 spells left in his deck. He has Shadow Word Death, which would be active. Cobalt Spellkin, which could get a spell that's active. Murzond, Raise Dead, double Raise Dead. He's got double Raise Dead left?
Oh, wait. Wave of Apathy?
A simple spell should
Oh, Holy Smite!
Holy Smite could give him the Wave of Apathy.
I wonder.
No. Holy Smite gives him a silence to smack for lethal. No, wait, no, that's not how it works.
Wait, what are it's Ice Barrier and Vaporize, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh,
it's
no,
one of them
Netherwind
is Netherwind
Portals.
Portal. Yeah.
Psyche Split, no! And it's Arcane Intellect. He knew what it was.
Yes.
Because it was actually a natural card in his deck. Oh, he was so close.
Oh, jeez.
Imagine if the card off the top is Shadow or Death.
All right, well, there you go. Game number 3. Quite the marathon, going deep to fatigue. Quick dabs for the winner, Muzz. As in the words of many Hearthstone players around the world, not even close. As we do have game number 4 coming up. Muzzy just has to win with his pre. And I mean, some of these games just go the distance, and they're just a lot of value battles back and forth, and they come down to a lot of these random generations. Excuse me.
Bless
As you can tell, I am allergic to Puzzle Box, and you do see that Muzzy does end up having a lot of these really tight scenarios where he's kind of accounting for stuff, and I was really impressed by the way that he was able to handle accounting for ranges like Deathwing. And I think when people talk about like how randomness can increase the skill expression of some players, I think it's moments like that where like Muzzy even accounted for a random Deathwing in that kind of scenario. And while I don't think he necessarily was like, well, I'm going to get blatant decoy off my Conjurer's Calling, he understood how to capitalize off of it, which was the important aspect.
Yeah. Kind of a crazy